Gulli Danda. Gulli Danda is an amateur sport played rather like cricket. Amateur means a sport which is played just for fun, not to earn money. It is an informal street game played in the rural areas and small towns all over South Asia, as well as Cambodia, Turkey, and Italy. The game is played with two sticks. A large one called a danda, which is used to hit a smaller one, the gulli. This story, written by a famous Urdu and Hindi author Premchand, is a charming account of village life. Let's start the story. I consider Gulli Danda the king of all sports. Even now, whenever I see boys playing Gulli Danda, I have a great desire to join them. You don't need a lawn, a court, a net, or any other expensive equipment. Just climb a tree, cut a branch, make a gully, and even if there are only two of you, you can start playing. As a boy, I spent many happy and absorbing hours playing this game. Absorbing means engrossing, totally absorbed in the game. You just forget to eat, to drink, and you have to even go back home. Among my fellow players was a boy named Gaya. He was a tall, thin fellow with the long, supple fingers of a monkey and with a monkey's nimbleness and uncertain temper. Supple means easy to bend. Whatever the shape of the gully, he would pounce on it the way a lizard pounces on an insect. So you can get a question, tell the appearance of Gaya. So Gaya was a tall, thin fellow with the long, supple fingers of a monkey and with a monkey's nimbleness and uncertain temper. Whatever the shape of the gully, he would pounce on it the way a lizard pounces on an insect. So this paragraph means that he was so flexible that he can jump just like a monkey here and there and hit the gully. I didn't know where Gaya lived, how he lived, or who his parents were, but he was the undisputed champion of one Gully club, of our Gully club. Undisputed means accepted champion of a Gully club. Whichever side he played for was bound to win. So whichever side he used to play, that side will win. One day only Gaya and I were playing. He was batting, I was fielding. It was strange that one could spend the whole day batting, but even a minute of fielding seems irksome. Irksome means annoying, irritating. I tried all means, including foul ones. Foul ones means cheating, which on such an occasion seemed permissible to put an end to my fielding. But Gaya would not let me go until I had got him out. When all my attempts to wriggle out of fielding failed, I tried to run home. Gaya caught hold of me and said fiercely, "Let me complete my turn before you go." You batted with great gusto. Gusto means pleasure, enthusiasm. When it's your turn to field, why are you running away? If you bat the whole day, do you expect me to go on fielding the whole day? Yes, I do. I shouldn't even go home to eat or drink. No, not till my turn is over. Am I your slave? Am I? Yes, you are. I am going home. Let's see how you stop me. How will you go home? Do you think this is a joke? I gave you your turn. Now I'll take mine. All right, yesterday I gave you a guava. Give it back to me. It has gone into my stomach. Take it out then. Why did you eat my guava? You gave it to me, so I ate it. I didn't ask you for it. You can't have your turn till you return my guava. I tried to free myself from Gaya's grasp, but he held on to me. I cursed him. He cursed me in return and slapped me. I bit him. He hit me on my back with his danda. I started howling. Gaya could not match this weapon of mine. He took to his heels. I promptly wiped my eyes, forgot the blow I had received, and ran home laughing. Soon after this incident, my father was transferred to another town. In the excitement of going to a new place, I quite forgot my old playmates. 20 years went by and I qualified as an engineer. While touring the district, I arrived by chance in the same small town that I have lived in as a child. I stayed in the Dak Bungalow. Dak Bungalow, a resting place for government officials. Eager to refresh old memories, refresh means brush up or remember old memories, I went out for a walk but was sorely disappointed. How the beautiful world of my childhood had changed. Suddenly, I saw two or three boys playing gulli danda in an open space nearby. For a second, I completely forgot myself. I went up to one of the boys and said, "Tell me, does a man named Gaya live here somewhere?" You mean Gaya, the groom? The groom means a person employed to take care of horses or a stable. Okay? Asked the boy timidly. Yes, I think so, I replied. Can you call him for a minute? The boy ran off and reappeared in few minutes with a short dark man. I recognized my old playmate straight away and wanted to fling my arms around her, but I stopped myself. Well, Gaya, I said coolly, do you recognize me? Gaya bowed his head. How could I not recognize you, Malik? He said humbly. I hope you are well. I am fine, I said. Tell me about yourself. I am Deputy Sahib's groom, Sarkar, he replied. And Matai, Mohan Durga, where are they? Do you have any news of them? I asked. Matai died. Mohan and Durga are both postmen. And you, Sarkar? I am the engineer of this district. Do you still play Gulli Danda? I asked. Gaya looked astonished. Where is the time, Malik? He said. I have to earn my living. Come, I said. Today you and I will play Gulli Danda. You bat, I will field. I haven't forgotten that I owe you a turn at batting. Gaya agreed to play very reluctantly. He was a laborer on daily wages. I was a senior officer. What did the two of us have in common? I took Gaya back with me to the dark bungalow and then we both drove in my car to the spot where we were going to play. We also took an axe with us. Despite an inner excitement, I managed to look very composed. Gaya's face showed no sign of either eagerness or pleasure. Perhaps his mind was too oppressed by the difference in our status. Oppressed means very burdened. He was very burdened by the difference in their status. He was not feeling comfortable while sitting with a high post person. Okay. So, did you ever think of me all these years? I asked. Be truthful, Gaya. How could I presume to think of you, Sarkar? He said awkwardly. But I thought of you quite often, I said a little sadly. I still remember that blow you gave me with your danda. That was long ago, Sarkar. Please don't not remind me of it. Gaya looked very sorry. Wah, I said, why not? That memory remains the sweetest memory of my childhood. We were now about 3 miles away from the town. Everything was quiet and peaceful. The sky was lit by the rays of the evening sun. I rapidly climbed a tree and cut a branch to make a gully and the danda. Then we began playing. I hit the gully, making it leap up in the air. Gaya tried to catch it, but it fell behind him. He seemed to have lost his old dexterity. Dexterity means skill or cleverness, you can say. No gully had ever escaped Gaya when we were children. I started batting. I was out of practice, but I made up for my lack of skill by cheating at every opportunity. Gaya watched without saying a word. How accurate his aim used to be in the old days. His gully had never failed to hit the danda. Now it missed the danda every time. Just because lack of practice, Gaya has not practiced in the years, right? So that is why he's not that able to play the gully danda now. After I had been batting for half an hour, the gully did hit the danda once. But I refused to acknowledge the fact. Surprisingly, Gaya did not argue. Had we been children, Gaya would have climbed on my back by now and never allowed me to get away with such deceit. Deceit means cunningness, okay? But now it was the easiest thing to make fool of him. He had forgotten everything. After a minute, the gully hit the danda again, and this time as loudly as and unmistakably as a pistol shot. It hit, Gaya declared joyfully. Did it? I said, pretending to look very puzzled. I didn't see it hit. But it made a loud noise, Gaya protested. Perhaps it hit a brick, I said. Even I was amazed at the extent of my tampering with the truth. Both Gaya and I had seen as well as heard the gully hitting the danda, but he accepted my preposterous suggestion about the brick. Preposterous means senseless, laughable suggestion about the brick. I began batting again, but now I was feeling sorry for Gaya, the simpleton. Simpleton means a fool. So when he hit the danda for the third time, I graciously allowed him to bat. Should we not continue the game? Tomorrow, asked Gaya. It's getting dark. No, no, I said, not wanting to give him a chance to play a good long innings the following day. Gaya started batting, but very poorly. In a few minutes, he was out. You can bat again if you like, I said generously. No, he said, it's really getting dark now. We drove back to the town as darkness fell and lamps were being lit. Before leaving me, Gaya said, there will be a gully danda match here tomorrow. All the old players will play. Will you come? Fix the time and I'll tell the others. I told him to organize the match early in the evening and went to see it the following day. It was a group of about 20 players and included several of my old classmates. The rest were young men whom I did not know. The game began. I watched sitting in my car. Gaya's performance that day astounded me. What skill, what grace. How his childhood talent had matured. All his awkwardness of the previous day has disappeared. Seeing the way he sent the gully flying through the air like an arrow, I realized that he played with me so expertly the day before. I would definitely have been reduced to tears. During the game, one of the young men tried to be a little high handed. High handed means tactless. There was an argument between him and Gaya, but such was Gaya's anger and authority that the youth had to retract his words, take back his words. Now I knew that Gaya had not played with me the day before. He had only pretended to play. I cheated, but he showed no anger. That was because he was indulging me like you indulge a child, allowing me to win. I was an officer, he was a poor man. This fact stood between us like a wall. Now I could get indulgence from him, politeness from him, but not comradeship. As children, we were equals, but now I was no match for him, only an object of pity. Gaya had grown bigger, I had become smaller. Adapted from the story by Premchand.